Okay, you guys, so Nicki Minaj just spoke at the United Nations and the internet is going crazy. So before we get into the UN speech, we need to talk about all the stuff that led up to that moment because Nicki has been on a whole Trump supporting spree lately. So let's rewind to early November. The White House TikTok page posted Trump and Melania with Nicki Minaj's song Bees in the Trap playing in the background. And Nicki went crazy over this. She reposted it talking about the First Lady and President of the United States, and she promised unlimited backstage passes to whoever uploaded it to the White House TikTok. Now at first, people were like, okay, maybe she's just excited her song is being used. But then she kept going. A few days later, Nicki reposted another White House TikTok, and it was literally celebrating Trump's policies. Now, we're talking about a slideshow that said no men and women's sports, border is closed, criminal illegals are being deported, all of that. Now, this is where her fans really started going off because a lot of them are LGBTQ+, and they felt like she was supporting anti-trans policies, and people were in the comments dragging her saying she's an immigrant herself supporting transphobic propaganda. But Nicki didn't stop there. On November 1st, Trump made a post about Christians being prosecuted and killed in Nigeria, and Nicki co-signed. She thanked him for speaking out and said no group should ever be prosecuted for practicing their religion. Now, when her LGBTQ+ fans called her out about supporting Trump after everything he's done to their community, Nicki doubled down. She said basically that this is not about them. She basically told them they were making it about themselves when Christians are being murdered. So all of this led to her getting invited to speak at the United Nations by Trump's UN ambassador Mike Waltz. And yesterday, Nicki became the first female rapper to ever address the UN. She showed up in an all-black dress, admitted she was very nervous, and gave a speech thanking Trump for his leadership on the Nigeria situation. She talked about Christians being targeted and killed in Nigeria and said protecting them is about uniting humanity, not taking sides.
It is an honor to stand on this stage with you and the other distinguished speakers here today to shine a spotlight on the deadly threat faced by thousands of Christians in Nigeria. I would like to thank President Trump for prioritizing this issue and for his leadership on the global stage in calling for urgent action to defend Christians in Nigeria, to combat extremism, and to bring a stop to violence against those who simply want to exercise their natural right to freedom of religion or belief.
But this is the thing, y'all. Experts and even the Nigerian government are pushing back on Trump's claims. Now, they're saying the violence in Nigeria affects everyone, regardless of their background or beliefs, not just Christians. The Nigerian president even said that he was shocked that Trump was talking about potentially invading their country. Now let's get into the reactions because Amanda Seales and Tamika Mallory both had something to say about this whole situation. Now, y'all already know Amanda is very outspoken. So Amanda Seales spoke out and she said that this is a perfect example as to why it's important to have people around you who know more than you. Take a look.
Nicki Minaj working with Trump admin on plight of Christians in Nigeria.
Either she's getting a check or she was MAGA the whole time, or she's genuinely thinks that she's doing something good, which, by the way, is why y'all need to have people around you that know more than you. And by y'all, I don't just mean celebrities. Everybody. Everybody should have people around them that they can consult with, that think differently than you, that hold you in a place of values. Just so you understand what's happening here with the plight of Christians in Nigeria, there is a plight of Christians in Nigeria. However, the U.S., what does that have to do with the United States? The United States is using this as a ploy, as a proxy, to find their way into Nigeria so that they can then find their way into the Sahel states of Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, who, as you know, are coming together to begin a process of Pan-Africanism on the continent. They are taking back their resources from France. They are saying we are going to build our own infrastructures. This undermines the global empire's goal have to try and shut it down. Now, we saw earlier this year with AFRICOM and that coon, that general who tried to say, oh, you know, they got some problems going down in Burkina Faso. They're continuing to try to make this happen the same way that they're making fetch happen in Venezuela right now. When do we stop allowing ourselves to be used?
But that's not all, y'all. Tamika Mallory came out with a strongly worded video warning about the consequences of aligning with Donald Trump.
So you guys know that over the last few years, I've really tried to be intentional about what I say in public about Black folks. I try to be really careful, but some things require a public statement. And as I've been watching this situation unfold with Nicki Minaj and Trump and Nigeria, I thought it was important for me to say a few things. There are consequences to aligning yourself with Donald Trump and his policies and his evil ways. There's consequences. What we know is that as he turns his attention to Nigeria, understanding his history, there will absolutely be exploitation, theft of resources. Somebody that he knows wants something from Nigeria. It could be a business partner, it could be a friend, it could be a said corporation, it could even be his family members. But they will invade Nigeria and exploit the people for their own benefit. And they will throw Nicki Minaj to the wolves because they could care less. They couldn't care less about that system. The unfortunate part about all of this is that there will forever be a stain associated with this moment that this sister will have to walk with. She will 100% see bloodshed because innocent Nigerians will be harmed and even likely killed as a result of whatever is to come. And she will have that on her hands. And it is pretty sad to watch because what we know is that he, Trump, often uses Black people and Black culture to harm Black people here and abroad. And it is happening in real time. And that sister is going to carry this moment with her forever. So today is a pretty sad day. It's a pretty sad day. And it won't be long before we all get to see how it unfolds. Maybe she knows, maybe she doesn't. Maybe she doesn't have anybody around her to inform her. But history tells what's going to happen. And it's, again, a pretty sad day.
Now, to be real, Tamika has a very strong point. I mean, Trump always has an ulterior motive when it comes to anything, so you really can't trust anything that he says he's gonna do or why he's gonna do it. Now, Nicki keeps saying she's not taking political sides, but she spoke at the UN on behalf of the Trump administration, so it's kind of hard to sit there and say that she's not really taking sides. So the big question is was this really about Christians in Nigeria, or was Nicki being used as a pawn in a bigger political game? And to be honest, with Trump's history, I absolutely feel like he's using her because, again, he has a history of using people to get what he wants. But I want to know, what do you guys feel about this situation? What do you guys feel about Nicki being a Trump supporter and backing him? Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments about this situation. That's all I have for you, and I'll talk to you later.